All right, thank you for staying with us. As I said, it's about promise and delivery, agreement. The popular words of Yes and Wiki, agreement, not agreement. And so should be the fulfillment. Talking about the minimum wage or the drama, at the end of the day, 70,000 was agreed. But then the federal government is yet to start the payment almost 4 months after. Right now, many state governments haven't. Some are already saying they are ready, or announced rather. Ogun State announced 77,000 naira. Governor Dapo Abiodun, we understand Jigawa also had signed a memorandum of understanding with the NLC to pay as well, and other states as well. Lucky Aidatiwa, regional 72,500 or 73,000 naira. These are some of the states that have been announced. Yes, 71,000 naira minimum wage between Gombe, I meant to say Gombe, not Gigawa, MOU signed, and many states as well. Now, announcement is one thing, commencement of the payment is another one. And many Nigerians are saying, Evelyn even said it, it will be total wickedness, to say state governments are still full dragging on this matter, and the ones that will not even pay 70,000, including our dear state here in Osun State, many persons are waiting for Governor Ademola Adeleke to say you must start the payment announcement and the payment as well, because even many persons might say government will always pay even if they owe you. But how about the immediate needs of the civil servant? Those needs won't wait. Many of them might be embarrassed. You talk about some of them that might have used their remaining small goodwill, to source for credit, from sellers as well. And these are some of the issues. But then we have Comrade Lanre Fadahunsi here with us, civil rights activist and of course a labor enthusiast. Comrade, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Evelyn. Good morning, Femi.
Good to have you here.
Yeah, Nigerians.
You heard my introductions. These are the issues. States are coming up with figures here and there. Many of them have not even announced at all, going to be signing an MOU with the NLC. The federal government agreed, but payment is yet to start. What's your opinion on all of this matter? And just like I ended the introduction, the bills of these civil servants will not wait. Yet, the state government, federal government, are yet to commence payment.
It's good to work based on facts, and the reality on ground is that it took a snitch from the National Assembly to really understand what is going on.
Okay.
The Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Commission came out to say, look, yes, we gave some adjustments to your wages, but it's not 19 million. You understand? Within the same period of time that workers were asking for a minimum wage. And as at the 29th of May, 2023, when President Bola Tinubu said so, this was gone. By 30th of May, workers had started paying heavily for transportation. The following morning, because all filling stations changed their prices.
In fact, same day.
So imagine now people who have lived May 30th, 2023 to May 30th, 2024, that's 1 year. And you are still talking about minimum wage. When the agreement on 70,000 was even reached, organized labor said they backed down on 250,000 because President Tinubu said, do you want me to increase the pump price of fuel? It has gone up twice between then and now. So 70,000 is even realistic anymore. And so when you look at the dynamics of what government is actually doing, then you begin to ask, maybe we should start thinking like government does. Every of its activities is dollarized. So if my 30,000 was $125, your 70,000 you are offering me is about $40 now. You have even reduced the worth of my person almost immediately by reason of what you are offering. Money is not good in the pockets of a few. So at the end of it all, we now realize that in addition to the revenue mobilization recommendation, every honorable member or senator goes home with additional 19 million monthly. Money is not good in the hands of just a few people. It's good in the hands of everybody if it's the national wealth. So to me, this discussion about this minimum wage is a blackmail because that take home is not working anymore. On a live program, somebody called in to say, look, I'm not a 70,000 earner. I earn 200,000, but I failed my family. My children don't respect me anymore. I can't meet their needs with 200,000. So if we are still thinking with that, he said, he happened to have worked over the years before he could be earning 200,000. And so he happened to have built in a place they call Band A. So his electricity bill every month is about 40,000 of that 200. And a family man publicly on live radio. So what are we talking about? Are we looking at the lives of people as if they are human beings? And everything that has to do with that policy makes it look like a crime scene situation. Subsidy is gone. What subsidy? At the end of the day, you realize people were being clever by half because they have not been truthful to Nigeria.
But these are the issues.
Yes, a barrel of oil that you are talking about, of crude oil, you have over 6-7 items from that single barrel. To the extent that technology tells you that you can even for free get PMS and sell the remaining item. As a nation, it was after the issues that we got to realize that there was actually a factored 455,000 barrels per day, not per month. So if you are talking about a barrel being worth this much, and you're talking about 455,000 for domestic, when you are talking about domestic consumption, it's meant for the citizens of that nation. Because we are oil rich, we should be beneficiaries.
Local consumption.
Yes. Yeah. So that's one you can say, okay, where is refinery? Take is for Nigerians. We are not selling to you. This 455,000 barrels, we still have 1 million plus barrels for sale that we can sell in dollars to those outside. But within our country, every day, I'm not sure we consume what PMS could come for 455,000 barrels of oil every day if we have it on a daily basis. And so, because there is shrouded mystery around this oil and gas thing, and it is what has been our albatross as a nation.
All right. Comrade, quickly, we can talk all sector, the opacity, the insincerity, and all of these things around it. But let's narrow it down to states right now, even the federal government. The fact as of this morning is, as far as minimum wage is concerned, in most of the states, payment has not begun. What we have in some states is wage awards, like in Lagos. I think Osun extended his own as well.
About 2 months.
Yeah. So, but people are saying, when will the substantive payment agree? Governor Ademola Adeleke has not announced anything as far as minimum wage is concerned. Lagos is doing wage award, and many other states like that. Some states are just silent on the matter. Some have announced. Do you see these things as, Evelyn said, maybe it's wickedness on the part of the leaders. Some will say, maybe they don't care. Some will say, maybe it's just bureaucracy. Maybe they are still working the numbers. But others will say, how come this bureaucracy doesn't affect the leaders when it has to be about their own remuneration, about purchase? This bureaucracy doesn't happen. The moment they need something, they go for it, they get it. So where will you place it? Is it still table-to-table bureaucracy, or they just don't care? Or what will you place as the issue why we don't even call members who are promised 77,000 naira? Right. Till now, they have nothing. Many of them have graduated. This is where we are. What is the issue for you?
Now, the issue for me is that the political leadership of now did not take a cue from the generational leadership we had at independence. For the likes of Awolowo that said, wait a minute, you must employ your citizens, because even if you don't have a job for them to do, whatever they earn will turn the economic wheel around. That's a mindset of a leadership. And he is the type of leader that said, look, you must conquer the tyranny of the flesh. That is what is affecting the leaders of now. Why they think it is normal for them to take 19 million and it is wrong for somebody to ask for 150. Do you understand? You must capture the tyranny of the flesh. To Christians, the Bible says the flesh is weak. Must you remain weak? Can't you psych your minds to know that there is profanity in obscene wealth without work? And people feel comfortable about that. truth of it is, the states we're talking about. Look at Osun State, for instance. I'm a pensioner, and I just saw 10,000 naira after the payment of the monthly pension. I'm like, oh, okay, so they're still paying this as promised. Fine, it's okay and good. But
as wage award.
Yes. Okay. But the truth of the matter is that there will still have to be discussions on that 70,000 because it's been made irrelevant. And so the moment you say pay it now, workers will quickly come back to say it's not working. So before you start the drama, because that's the truth now, we are asking, oh, have they started paying? They will start paying. But the truth is that is $125 to $40. You get what I'm so that cannot take anybody anywhere. So it's better we actually go. You told us you were not going to increase the pump price of PMS anymore. The next thing we saw, it's gone up twice. From like 600 to 8 to that 1,200 in most filling stations now. That's the average you get. So to me, it's a discussion that will remain unending. Then another angle to it. There are statutes about wages when it comes to civil service procedures. Your basic salary, a percentage of it is your transport allowance, a percentage of that is your housing allowance, utility services and all. They are embedded in different stages of the salary table. But in most states, I'm being factual now. In most states, what they now do is, okay, for transportation, let's put 7,000. You get what I'm saying? Whereas it's supposed to be a percentage of what your basic is. So you can see a level 16 officer, you now say, okay, let's give him 20,000 for accommodation. That's not how it's done. Over time, people have paid their dues by rising in their cadres. But suddenly we have realized that they have changed the whole table and said, okay, let's put, it happened here in Osun. At a time we were in service, and I was like, look, a lot of things are wrong here. That's why I actually left in 2012. Now, my colleagues whom we entered service together in the Oyo State local government service as director of information and the rest of it, in Oyo State were earning like by 30,000 naira more than me in Osun every month. Same grade level, same step. Because we were doing wage differentials that did not take into cognizance the rules guiding this wage increase. So at the end of the day, I discovered that labor unions in each state, when they are negotiating, must go with superior argument about what it should be. If not, you just see somebody who was earning 150,000 as a director. Now the wage differentials will say is now to earn 180,000. Do you get? And they have paid 70,000 minimum wage. All of this goes to say we are still very unserious about the people who run the system. On a daily, these are the people who go to work, they treat the files, they work on what moves activities of government, and suddenly we say, look, they probably don't count. I begin to wonder if indeed those states that are saying you may just not come to work 4 days of the week are being honest with themselves. Then it means there's no productivity attached to those working for you.
So they should work at home.
Work at home. How many equipments have you given them to work with? You get. But just work at home is like, if we don't really need you.
But we saw that play out in 2020 during the COVID time. People
work out, not here. People were doing things. In Nigeria, it was a lockdown. It was pure lockdown. But in places like America, you attend lectures because technology has gone that way. But it's a painful one. Right. But now we are talking about University of Languages. You understand? And we will pass through quick succession in the National Assembly, whereas people are talking science and technology. So we are really not where we are supposed to be. I'm telling you, reset mode of Nigeria, the moment the right people are doing the right things, I'm telling you, things will just take a 360 for good. And that's what we are trying to tell people, that look, you can be poor on the way to Damascus. Is it Saul that became poor? Yeah, you can turn around and change your own orientation. But you must first of all remove that tyranny of the flesh. I want to ride a Rolls Royce. I want to buy a private jet. If you are doing that, you were living in a Mirror, Mirror on the way to Ogun State. Yeah, and then you now want to move to Banana Island. From Mirror to Banana, it's too far. not stay Maryland first? You get? That's the mentality. You want to be a billionaire all of a sudden because you see billions that you are supposed to dispense. This is all this for me. It's not for you. It was meant for the system. That's the truth of it. We pray the governors are humane about their reasoning about this minimum wage thing, because at the end of the day, I predict that workers will quickly come back, because 70,000 has become irrelevant in the now.
All right, Comrade Fadahunsi, I'd like to ask you this question. Do you think in Nigeria we talk too much? When I mean we talk too much, I mean, if we are opportune to probably watch through all the TV channels, listen to all the radio stations, you will see or you will hear one analyst or the other, one journalist or the other, talking about the same situation we are talking about. And it seems the governments continue to play deaf ears to what we say. It seems they are, disconnected from the reality of the ordinary Nigerian. Do you think we talk too much? What is it we're supposed to be doing rather than talking? Because people say we should continue talking until they hear. But do you think this government, this administration, this crop of leaders that we have will hear what the citizens are saying?
Well, it's not my saying. There's that quote that whom the gods want to destroy, the first of all make mad. I listened to Ndume, who said he went to Borno some days back, and that what he saw was gory and fearful. He's a rich man by all standards. He's a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And he went further to say that those around Mr. President are lying to him. Just like we are talking, some of them are talking now because of the clear and present danger that they see. So those of us talking, you guys keep talking, we'll be eating. Of course, the Senate President, he has a group of, statements is made in the recent past that goes to show the mindset of people at that level. If you can say, if you see free food, then also, if it is ritual food, go and eat it, because is that not what you are telling the citizens? Don't you forget, wait a minute, whatever debunked of so whatever.
There has been a context to it, by the way.
Whatever contextual issue. You have had a part 1, part 2, so if you are denying part 3, what of part 1 and 2? Yeah. Okay, you can be protesting, we will be eating. You know, all these things in quick succession, telling the people they count for less. Do you get? But you see, like prophets, when you're telling people, they say, you people talk. No. We know there's a tomorrow to all of this. Do not have a bleak tomorrow. Hello? If they start holding people, I don't have any private jets to protect. You understand what I'm saying? But we are telling you, do the right thing so that what has happened to is historical. From all intent, I don't think the political class in Kenya could have thought it was possible for that to happen in their country. Because they felt, the moment they start, you give the boys money, the boys were saying, we don't want no more. So it is, to think it can happen in Nigeria, don't say it cannot. Think well. So like prophets will tell you this is looking like doomsday, take caution and change your ways. So when a prophet is preaching, people will be like, don't mind this charlatan. But the truth is, this is clear and present danger. When you chase a goat to a wall, he will return back. So we are telling them, it's a duty, we are duty bound to say what we have observed, that in societies where systems break up, these are the ingredients you see. So if there are 7, 8 ingredients to anarchy, and we are telling you, you are number 4. This step number 4, and you are still acting like nothing has happened. You see, at some point, you begin to wonder, okay, young people all over the nation are saying we are hungry. And all of a sudden, somebody somewhere gave the president a policy to say, we are bringing youth to Abuja for 30 days. In the elections in Abuja, this government did not win Abuja. Do you get? So you are bringing youths from all over, you know the kind of youths that will come and live in Abuja for a month and now be working pro-government on a daily. Have we lost our minds?
That one's supposed to be a conversation, and the youth will be drawn from every part of the country.
Well, who are the people to conscript those youths?
Okay.
Those do you remember?
We are waiting for the modality.
2020 October, when there was the EndSARS protest. Do you know there were some youths that were throwing stones at the EndSARS protesters?
Yeah.
Do you get? They were coming with cordials. There were some in Abuja that were driven there with government buses to go and chase protesters away. Those are the youths that are going to now take over the streets of Abuja. So we know who will conscript. We know the conscription. So all of these things, we are just begging them. We're not quarreling with you. Let me ask you a question. If today the government says, okay, let's sell PMS at 300, the domestic consumption, we don't want to make a penny of it, we give it to refiners, and do you care who has oil rig somewhere? You won't care anymore. You get? We are not saying don't take your millions. It's between you and your God and your conscience. But you are touching our lives when we know it's not supposed to be touched that way.
But if they keep taking these millions, Nigerians will always be affected.
No, you don't get.
Isn't it?
They are taking
Or
too
you are
much.
saying there is enough to go around.
Too much to go around for everyone. We never cared. I'll be 60 very soon. So we never cared about whose father had a Rolls Royce. Bro, this is public space. I was a classmate to Femi Otedola in a semi-secondary school. Because probably the father was a Baptist or whatever. I mean, I tell you, a Baptist school. Say, let my son go there. He was a rich man. We were classmates. It doesn't really matter. You get. The truth is, my school principal's children were in school with us. That was the kind of orientation and background we all had. But now, we can't sit with them because they don't belong to our
And
class.
by the way, if I may quickly butt in, if your school principal's children are in the same school with you, then the principal is duty bound
to make sure everything goes
to make sure
well.
everything goes right.
So now our leaders are creating schools their children cannot attend, hospitals their own families cannot. You know, so that's the mentality, what mentality of leadership of today. Hello, sir. As a student of secondary school, the president of Nigeria, General Obasanjo, worshipped with us on a school assembly because our principal was a secondary school teacher. That's the kind of Nigeria we had. So people cannot come and start telling us stories that we can't do it anymore. How can we enjoy free education and our generation is saying it's not possible? That's rather unfair.
All right, Comrade Fadahunsi, let's move back to the minimum wage, conversation. 17 states have set up committees to implement the minimum wage, and we have Ondo, Kogi, Borno, Gombe, all have released or announced what they want to pay. That leaves 19 plus the FCT, 19 states plus the FCT who are yet to actually implement or come up with anything. 70,000 naira minimum wage, Comrade Fadahunsi, up from 30,000 minimum wage, which some states didn't pay. Even till now, some states did not pay the 30,000 naira minimum wage. Do you actually think that the entire 36 states in Nigeria would actually adhere to this 70,000 naira minimum wage implementation? And how soon do you think that will?
Well, I believe that should be done immediately. And to me, it will still be palliative. I won't consider it because you understand, because a lot of things have happened between that time of the agreement and now. But beyond that, let them even take the first step, let them. But that's why I'm saying organized labor should go to the table with superior argument. Mr. Honorable, your allowance is calculated by percentage. Have you seen the table of the wages of, even by revenue mobilization? They'll say this allowance is 200% of your basic. Is 115. Do that for workers too. So let's know what percentage did the law say their housing should be of their basic. So you don't just come and start imputing figures at will and random. So now that they want to start these discussions, let the organized labor go with template. If your allowance, dress up allowance, wardrobe allowance is 200% of your basic as a member of the National Assembly, why shouldn't a director's allowance also be? People in broadcasting at wardrobe allowance. So what percentage of their income should go for that now? Because you want to see them on television, you're appearing beautiful and lovely now, you understand? Let us know what of that and is happening to you, let it happening to them. Let it happen to them. I'm a pensioner, and it was deliberate. So whatever they decide, I will tell you something. When I was living, I was like, look, pensioners, the way they do them, I am not going to enter any office to process any paper until 12 calendar months that I've survived as a Nigerian by myself. You understand? So they fail to pay, I'll be like, I've survived. I even was 17 months. I was going to do 12 months. It was 17 months after when they started half salary, half this, that. So whatever business you were doing would have been affected because people could not live their normal lives anymore. Unfortunately, nobody did anything about those other half until I think this administration started paying one in every 4 months. But it was not their fault. But then, that's the kind of the nation we are in. So to me, let's them take this first step. And I appeal to labor leaders not to eat of bread of sorrow, because that's where the thing breaks up.
What do you mean?
Okay. It's easy to try to bribe a few to cage the most. That is the bread of sorrow. Because people who take such, because you want to take care of yourself, your interest, and accept what, do you know how it will feel? Is it not second class if my colleague at that time in Ibadan is earning like 30, 40,000 naira every month more than me, and we're on the same grade level, and we entered service same day? Because of the negotiation capacity of some people who chickened when they were not supposed to.
Is that the only factor, or the ability of state as well to pay?
And the living conditions of
Do
those
you know?
states.
Do you know that here in Osun,
Maybe, obviously,
I'll tell you something.
Oyo makes
Here
more
in
money
Osun,
than Osun.
ability to pay you are talking about?
Yeah.
When the Buhari administration gave this salary thing that they want to pay arrears to workers that they are owing, Osun collected 34 billion plus to pay backlog of what they are owing workers. Oyo did not get more than maybe 10 billion because it was not owing the workers that much. You get?
Right.
So if you are saying ability, is the ability to think and not just to pay. If that's why I said, if I have workers, I will say, wait a minute, give me, if I have workers, directors, give me a template of what you can deliver in your ministry. You understand? I'm holding you on account of what you have written. I've looked at your document. This is the money you asked for. Pay, deliver. That's, you run business well. I'll tell you something I observed about Oyo State. Our neighbor here, somebody was a director during COVID-19. Probably he just wrote a proposal to the government that, wait a minute, these are things we can hold if you can do well. This is reality. I don't know the person one-on-one, but the reality was that this director eventually became the commissioner for health in that state. Because Oyo State did not lock down. Somebody gave an idea to the governor. Let's not kill the commerce of our states. We can prevent people from handshake. We can tell people, take your space. And all of a sudden, people ran from Lagos. Look, life is going on in Oyo. Yeah. And we can't just stay locked up here. Nobody's giving us food to eat. And people migrated and said, look, keep your distance. If you want to enter our market, wash your hands. If you want to go out, wash your hands. Cover your nose when you're going to. So at that level, that same state, somebody was a director, became a permanent secretary, and is now a commissioner. You get? So it's like, bring something to the table. Challenge your workers. Pay them well, but tell them, deliver.
All right, Comrade, we have to run now. But one last question for you. We'll talk about government. What about the private sector? Do you see most or, majority of private sector key into this minimum wage thing? The government have said that private owners or private companies and private employers, rather, who do not pay the 70,000 naira minimum wage risk jail term. How do you react to that very quickly? And do you think private employers can actually key into this minimum wage implementation?
Well, they can if they are sincere. Yes, a lot of indices are working against them too.
Of course, they don't get free money.
Because they paying. There's one thing that is unfortunate. all this issue of taxation, oh, everything comes back to the people. It bounces back on the people. Do you understand? Because if you say, look at it now, you will see how quick the passage of 7% VAT to 10% will go. So the person who is manufacturing, after manufacturing, you say from 7%, you are taking his VAT to 10%, he's going to factor it on the cost of whatever he produces. So it's now for them to look at, that's why industries are living. Ease of doing business is not part of the strong point of the current administration. So these people are living. So at the end of it all, what my fear is that, yes, you tell private concerns to, and they will lay off those workers we can't afford. So whoever wants to still work, can stay. But if you want to earn 70,000, you must generate 140. So if you can say, okay, I will defend and work. So instead of working 8 hours, you can work 16 hours. You understand? We will pay you. So it's not something that is going to be easy, because government appears to have left everything to tax. Again, regulate it. That's why you must regulate. I say, company, you have made this gain, you should be able to pay your salary, let your tax be relieved, so that you can still make ends meet. I believe we will get there, but we don't take the painful way.
Of course, it's a very nice place, good place to pause this conversation. It's an ongoing conversation, by the way, so we'll definitely get back to it. Civil rights activist, labor enthusiast, Comrade Lanre Fadahunsi. Thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thanks for
it's
having
always
me.
a pleasure having you around.
Thanks for having me.
All right, that's the first leg of the conversation. We'll take this short break. When we come back, we'll speak to the drama that took place in Libya, and with our Super Eagles team reduced to refugees. We'll come back and take that conversation. Do not go anywhere. Morning Spring will be right back.